Patrick was laying back, the sun was warming him up on his face, and this poor lady came up to me. Well, I say poor lady, this innocent lady came up to me and just gave me all kinds of heck about how I had that baby facing the sun where he couldn't see, and that sun was burning his eyes. Could I, as a father, not figure out why his eyes were squinty and closed like that? And, you know, of course, as an angry young man, which I wasn't real angry, but, you know, there were always opportunities to lash out. All those things ran through my mind, but I just turned him around and said, "You were right. Gosh, thank goodness for people like you who keep me in order." Anyway, so things like that happened all the time. Looks, questions, grocery stores, wherever we took Patrick, you know, and sometimes it was natural curiosity. Sometimes ignorance, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. People wanting to learn. Little kids were the best, though. They just come up, man, they just get right in Patrick's face. And they, no shyness or whatsoever. Just look. And I'll never forget, we were at a ball game one time. Patrick had a great voice as a youth. He was like, I don't know, 6 years old or 5 years old, and he was singing the national anthem at a softball tournament in our hometown of Louisville, Kentucky is where we're from. And this little boy or girl, I can't remember, just came up and just kept staring at Patrick. And I would always get behind Patrick when these things happened and stare back like, you know, I see you. He may not, but I see you. And finally that young person looked up to me and said, "What's wrong with his hair?" Almost knocked me over. So, wasn't what I was expecting. But those sorts of things happen. But my wife and I decided, you know, we're going to push Patrick out there. And we don't know how Patrick's going to develop cognitively, whether he'll be able to be a student, or, you know, how he'll learn, or if he'll learn, or when he'll talk, or what his gifts might be. We don't know. But we, like I said earlier, we knew if we gave up on him, he didn't have a chance, because nobody else, if we didn't fight for our son, to the parents in this room, if we didn't fight for our child and be his biggest advocate, then he could get lost in the shuffle. And of course, this is 1988. This is, you know, years ago. We've made great strides in 30 years, but we still have a long way to go, and we're progressing. But it was even different back in 1988 when he was born. But anyway, so we went about raising our son and just loving him and being the best parents that we could be. And we've been rewarded extremely beyond our wildest dreams. Beyond our wildest dreams. You know, my wife's saying in Patrick's, she's quoted in the back of his book, was, whatever Patrick could be, he was going to be the best Patrick Henry Hughes that he could be. Whatever his potential was, and we didn't know what it was, and we knew that his progress would be behind his peers, but we were ready for that, and we would just make Patrick the best Patrick that he could be. And we did that for all our sons. Sometimes to their, I guess, no, I don't know what the word is, but sometimes to their disappointment, we pushed them also. Anyway, and they all turned out well. All better than I was as a boy, that's for sure. Thank God for that favor. Anyway, so what we want to do, to tell you a little bit how we're here in East Texas with you. Patrick and I have been blessed to travel. We've been in 49 of the 50 states. Haven't made it to Alaska, but we've been in all the other states. We've been in on 4 continents, in about a dozen countries around the world, with our story that all happened with college. But before college, Patrick was kind of famous in our hometown of Louisville, Kentucky. Everybody knows where Louisville is, right? The Kentucky Derby and baseball bats and the University of Louisville Cardinals, all that good stuff. And the Kentucky Wildcats down the street, you know, boo this. Anyway, they're still playing and we're not. But before Patrick got to college, we were kind of famous in Louisville because Patrick appeared every year on a little event called the Crusade for Children, which is kind of like Louisville's version of the Jerry Lewis Labor Day Telethon. It's a big fundraiser for our local community. Patrick was always on there performing and playing piano. And so it kind of prepared us for when the big national spotlight came on. We were all ready to go and speak in front of people and share our story. So we were very... kind of not going to turn this into a Sunday morning sermon, but we kind of felt like God had prepared us for what was happening. But Patrick started college in, what year was that?
2006.
In 2006. And he looked at 2 or 3 different colleges, but we settled on the University of Louisville for a variety of reasons. And amazing things happened. I'm going to share a video with you that kind of launched us to the world. Now, before this video aired, we actually had a little national attention. You were on ABC World News Tonight, right, with Peter Jennings?
Charlie, is either Charlie or Charles Gibson.
Charles Gibson, yeah. ABC World News Tonight with Charles Gibson. And then we had something else on a national, Sports Illustrated did a story on Patrick in October. And then, but the big splash was being on ESPN's College Game Day in December of 2006. Now, it's a funny story. You've got to be careful what you ask for. I always dreamed before Patrick was born that I love sports and played football and baseball and basketball and still play golf. That's the only thing my body can handle anymore. But I was a huge sports nut as a young man and had dreams of my son being a star on a football field when he got to be older. Either, scoring the winning touchdown, getting that ESPN da-da-da-da-da-da highlight. I just wanted 10 seconds, just 10 seconds of Patrick on ESPN. And Patrick being a star on a football field. And my dream came true in a way I never could have imagined. And I'm going to put Patrick at the keyboard, and then I'm going to come back here and share a little video with you. Hang on. Everybody doing okay so far?
Yes,
All
yes,
right.
yes.
I'll be 56 on Tuesday, so got the readers going. Life is good.